Todd Boehly officially gives Thomas Tuchel the keys to have full control on transfer activity this summer. What does this mean? Where do we go from here? And who are some of the targets that Thomas Tuchel is looking at to improve us for next season? Well, my friends, learn all the biggest updates and news that dropped today on Blue Lines TV. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Smash that like button. Let's be ambitious, my friends. I want to get over 2,500 likes for today's video. And of course, share your thoughts and opinions on all the big stories that dropped today in the comments below. Without wasting any more time, let's start with a quick story. And a report came out today from the Telegraph suggesting that Frank Lampard has big interest in trying to get Conor Gallagher at Everton for next season, followed by minor interest in Billy Gilmour. Basically, we know that Super Frank Lampard is a big supporter and believer of talent at Cobham. We know that he was working there as the assistant manager alongside Jody Morris back when both these guys were with the youth teams at Cobham, so he knows all about the players and talent that we produce at this club. And essentially, it does feel like he is trying to see if there's a possibility in trying to entice Conor Gallagher to come to Everton. We know that Thomas Tuchel himself is also a big fan of Conor, and as I've been saying throughout the season, last season Tuchel would have been very happy to keep the player with the squad. However, all parties actually agreed and decided that it was best for him to actually go on loan and get 30 minutes elsewhere in preparation of coming back for this season. That does mean that Gallagher will get another pre-season to show what he's about, but realistically, after the assurances that Tuchel has given to the player that he is going to play a part for this season, I can't see anything happening unless Conor Gallagher has like an incredible, crazy change of heart all of a sudden. That doesn't mean that Lampard and Everton won't give up on trying to persuade the player to go to them, but if hypothetically this was to come, they wouldn't expect to try and get the player until the end of the window, where they probably find out, concrete proof in the end whether Gallagher is going to have a significant part this season and whether, of course, everything goes to plan as has been reported over these past few weeks. Still though, there is minor interest in Gilmour. We know that Lampard gave Gilmour his first chance in the team, and actually back then Gilmour was picking up man of the match awards for fun, putting in great performances, running things in midfield. And for me, I feel like that loan spell at Norwich City doesn't really count in my opinion. I feel like it was just bad advice all round. I don't see Gilmour having an impactful part of our season next season, but I think that if he could get a loan move to Everton, working under Frank Lampard, a manager that knows the player, that knows how to use him, with Gilmour able to play his best football too under him, I think this could put him in an incredible position going into future seasons in his Chelsea career. So for me, Gallagher, out of bounds. He's here, Frank. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. But if you want to take Billy Gilmour and help him get back on track and on the right path, feel free, my friend. So right now, we move on to the next story. So I think right now, it's time to tackle today's massive story that dropped today from Matt Law from the Telegraph. And when Matt Law reports something, this is like the Chelsea correspondent, and this is substantial, and this is me. So we have to talk about everything today. And the big news is Todd Boehly has promised Tuchel he can take the lead on transfer decisions made this summer. That's pretty big, and you'd imagine that there's been so many Chelsea managers throughout the past seasons that would have loved to be in this same unique position. So this is what I keep saying, Tuchel should feel like a very lucky man. Regardless though, I'm going to just talk about some of the key points on Matt Law's report today. He does say that this is potentially good news for Lukaku. As I've been saying for a long time now, Lukaku and Tuchel don't hate each other. They just don't see eye to eye on a footballing level. So it only makes sense that Lukaku is going to go if Tuchel says, I need to get someone new. So that is big here. But of course, moving on though, Matt Law reports that, Boehly is definitely influenced by how Man City and Liverpool have turned things round by originally giving Klopp and Pep Guardiola a lot of responsibility and a lot of leeway when it comes to making those right decisions, clear out the squads, and of course, set the team up to be ready for the future. We know that with Man City, when Pep first took over, Yaya Toure left, plus many other big names on top of that as well too. Klopp did something similar, even more, he had like a big involvement in actually allowing Coutinho to be sold, knowing that they would be a lot better without the player there. And even going back to Pep Guardiola, when he first became the manager at Barcelona, Deco left, Juli left, Ronaldinho left, so many players left. So, there really is a great strategy, business strategy, in giving a manager you fully back and believe in this type of control to have the final say in decisions made in the summer. Matt reports that Todd Boehly has promised Thomas Tuchel he will back him 100% this summer. And when it comes to transfer income, we have around 200 million to spend, potentially even more if a lot more players get sold as well. But currently, today it was announced that we officially had 100 million pumped into new Chelsea shares. So we have money to spend this window. We have money to spend. I know Thomas Tuchel said prior that due to so many players leaving, this summer will be a rebuild attempt, but I personally think that, and I'm kind of hoping that this is just Thomas Tuchel being like very realistic, to not set expectations too high, because he likes to do that and then he does the complete opposite thing. With this type of money at his disposal, he has a big opportunity to shape how the team's going to look for the significant future. And I say this because the only manager I've ever seen who's had this type of leeway was Jose Mourinho, and we actually benefited twice due to the players he brought in during the 04-05 season. When he left, I mean, that squad was so good. Essentially, they didn't even really need a manager, and we still won due to that call. And it was the same thing during the second spell as well too, with your, Costas, Cesks, etc, etc. Still, we do continue on, and Tuchel is still expected to work alongside Marina Granovskaya and Petr Cech throughout this window. With Marina, her future is still in doubt. It's quite likely that she will leave once the window does end. And a favourite we're looking at is Atletico Madrid sporting director in Andrea Berta. So this is definitely a very interesting story. I'm sure we're going to get more updates as the future goes on. Normally when he works alongside Cech and Marina, of course, the club do have targets that they make educated targets, of course, towards the manager. It's not just random players they're telling the manager to force into the team. But the difference this summer in particular is that Tuchel will get final say on who he feels we should prioritise and who we shouldn't. So for me, I'm hoping that Tuchel's been a fan of Spider-Man, because we know what that saying is. With great power comes great responsibility, and Tuchel has all the cards in his hand right now. Am I worried? I'm not too sure, to be honest. Personally, no. It's not like Tuchel's going to say, let's get some third division German player and cook from there. Absolutely not. The targets we're looking at, it's not like they're going to be completely alien and different now that Tuchel has more say and control. It's still the big names I'm going to talk about as I do finish this part of the story. Essentially, it's going to involve things like this. If Tuchel tells Todd Boehly, I don't think I want to see Lukaku here next season, then Boehly will 100% support his decision. If Tuchel says, I need to see Ousmane Dembele here, no matter if there's any concerns, Tuchel's will be respected and be imposed. And for me, I think this is the best decision to make. I mean, Todd Boehly didn't spend over 4.25 billion to buy us if his vision and plan wasn't to make us the best team in England and one of the best teams in the world. And come on, I don't think football's that complicated. If you have a manager that you fully back and believe in, give them more confidence to be able to build and create a squad in their image. And I think this season in particular, this summer window right now, could be the best foundation window to set us up for greater successes in future windows. Realistically, Todd Boehly and his new data analytical team, we won't see that until maybe January or realistically next summer. So it only makes more logical sense that Tuchel will have, more of a say now in terms of constructing the squads in his image, which is big news for everyone. And I do think that when he's able to do this, we can then really judge Tuchel more fairly and be more honest with our critiques. So right now, let's discuss some of the targets that are being looked at. So right now, let's talk some of the targets, you guys. The big names being looked at: NKUNKU, Garvidio, ligt, Ousmane Dembele, and Declan Rice. Starting with Declan Rice first, obviously today I'm sure we all saw the pretty sad and terrible news that Tchouaméni has agreed a fee of over 100 million now to sign for Real Madrid. And what's that saying? That, profiles of players like him, Rice, etc, they command big fees. Big clubs understand the importance of having these enforcer style players in the middle of the field. We've seen the benefits that both Man City and Liverpool have got from having Fabinho and Rodri, who are like the two key missing pieces that really just elevated how they played and took them to another level. So I think Rice is definitely in the same family as these types of players with a lot more potential to go. And from what I'm hearing as well too, Tuchel is a big fan of Rice. Not only does he rate him technically, rate how he plays, but also he thinks that he'd be like a perfect fit for the squads due to all the relationships he has here currently and due to the profile and his personality. So, these are also important things. And I do think that when Rice comes, I don't think we'd have to worry about any period of him having to adjust. I think he's going to instantly just seamlessly slot in. So the interesting thing is, West Ham, of course, we know that they slapped on 150 million to scare off teams, but based on the reports today from Matt Law, a big figure wouldn't necessarily put off Todd Boehly if Thomas Tuchel himself really felt like he is the key man to get. Now we know that West Ham have shown interest in Broja. We sold Kurt Zouma towards them as well too. You can see that, there's little things being done now to keep a good relationship alongside the club. West Ham realistically would have to expect that, they'll have to sell Rice eventually because he is not committing to any new contracts. So if you can get a premium amount of money from him in this window, it makes more sense to do that instead of watch his valuation drop in following seasons. So there's going to be a ton more news surrounding Rice coming out as this window goes on. But of course, let's move on now. Christopher NKUNKU is another big target being linked. Now, NKUNKU, of course, addressed the press recently, talking about the fact that, yes, he's feeling very flattered by all the interest shown in him from top European clubs. He knows that we've been talking to him, he's been speaking to us as well too, but the only issue is that RB Leipzig really don't want to sell. And, they're really trying to commit to NKUNKU. Listen, if you sign a new contract, we'll give you a fair release clause for next season. It'll be even fairer if, let's say, hypothetically, we didn't secure Champions League football the following season. We need you here for one more season at least, and then you can move on. However, reports are also suggesting that if, let's say, RB Leipzig receive a bid of over 80 million plus add-ons, that could be way too much money for them to turn down. And NKUNKU hasn't necessarily set its desires on remaining at Leipzig again. So really it comes down to the intent expressed from us. In my opinion, I think NKUNKU is a fantastic player. Been following throughout the season. I know some man were trying to draw comparisons with Timo Werner based on some of the goals he scored, as if he's a pace merchant, but I can assure you, NKUNKU is a lot more technically proficient and gifted than anything Timo Werner can do. He can play all across mids, all across the attack. Very good inside areas, very skillful, very unpredictable as well too. Can play that final ball, and most importantly too, is a match winner. Look at some of the goals he's been scoring, the little dinked efforts, little chips, the composure he's showing. And, he's played the most decisive part for RB Leipzig. Tuchel's worked alongside him before previously at Paris Saint-Germain and knows everything about the player too. For me, I'm expecting maybe big efforts to be made for NKUNKU this summer. And I'm expecting a lot more reports to be coming out around the story over the next few weeks. Of course, Ousmane Dembele, the news keeps getting better and better and better. The fact that now Tuchel has final say for me is even bigger confirmation that expect something soon to come from this deal. There was reports coming out that maybe the club had some reservations based on some of Dembele's past misdemeanors, past issues, disciplinary things, etc, etc. But the guy's 25, he's married, he's clearly matured, and I think over the past 18 months actually there's been no drama, no nothing. I think he's been excellent, to be honest. The only issue is potentially could be his agent, who could make things quite long, but I think as long as we come with a fair price and fee, we have the money to spend now to entice a player like him here. His contract expires officially at the end of this month as well too. Barcelona have given up on making anything happen with him. It's a matter of time in my opinion. And of course the final ones on de Ligt and Garvideo. Listen, if we go for NKUNKU, there's no way in hell that RB Leipzig would also sell Garvideo, and I think Garvideo's entire management team currently feel like it's best remain here for at least a season or two first before moving on, because then you have all of Europe looking at you. So that makes a lot of sense in my opinion. And of course with de Ligt has expressed some concerns, which I spoke about in yesterday's video, about the the potential at Juventus. I mean, what's happening? Top four again, not winning any league titles. I didn't sign here for any of this. And of course, Juventus potentially could cash in on the player if he commits his future away. And again, it comes down to us showing that statement of intent. But de Ligt has been a long-term target. He is a leader. I think he would be a good player here as well too. So we definitely have to see what happens with this story, you guys. So right now, that's the big news info drop on Todd Boehly giving Tuchel the keys to cook for the summer. It's what we've been waiting to hear. And to end things with the final story, gotta give a quick update on Saul, who officially left the club today. Now, in a very classy manner, he released a very honest and open tweet about his time here, as he says, "Hello Blues, I'm writing to take my leave of you. I would like to tell you how I felt during this adventure. Things didn't start well at all. After a long time at home, changing everything wasn't easy. Little by little, things got better. Everything in life serves to improve and learn, and that's what I take from this adventure. I'd like to thank the club for trying to take care of every detail to make me feel at home. I'd also like to give recognition to each worker. Thank you. Thank you for making this club much bigger. Thanks to all the fans for supporting me through thick and thin. I will be forever grateful. Thanks to all the staff making it possible for me to win titles with a blue shirt. But above all, I want to thank my teammates. They have been fundamental so that I wouldn't fall apart. They helped me to continue supporting the team and live a calm and positive day to day. Thank you." I mean, very classy. And of course, you guys know my thoughts and opinions on the signing of Saul. I didn't think it was the correct one to make based on the form he's shown in previous seasons at Atletico Madrid before we even made the loan move. However, I'm hoping that after his time with us, a new environment, new way of living, new support around him as well too, he can take that energy back with him now to Atletico Madrid and kickstart his career again. I think maybe we'd all be happy to see that. Got nothing personal against the player whatsoever, and I wish him the best success going forward in the future. So you guys, on that note, that is the end of today's video. If you want to see more Blue Lions TV, the videos are here, my friends. Click on the latest ones that I've dropped over the past few days. And on that note, I'm NKUNKU, this is Blue Lions TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos. Cool.